Welcome to another episode of BOI Weekly on Channels Television, and as usual, we're giving you the stories of the Bank of Industry in their effort to industrialize Nigeria. Now, industrializing Nigeria goes beyond just funding entrepreneurs and their projects. It also includes them being empowered. That's what the Bank of Industry sought to do when they brought some experts who would speak to those involved in agriculture on how they can make the process of their products automatic. This is a joint training organized by the management of the Bank of Industry and Agua Training Center for their clients involved in specialized areas of agriculture. They've brought in experts who deal in automatic processing of agriculture produce, such as poultry, red meat, as well as what could be termed waste products.
I have seen where wastewater is just being discharged with the blood and all that polluting the environment. And I know if the law is not yet there, it will soon be there, that this wastewater needs to be processed, treated before you can discharge them. I have seen where chicken are being processed manually, dipping them into hot water, using hand to remove the feather, cutting and removing the intestine in a way that sometimes you don't even like to eat chicken anymore.
The first speaker is Rod Beckers from the Netherlands. He has his eyes on how poultry processing can be automated, especially since it's the highest supply of protein to the increasing population of the world. He believes this is important to Nigeria because in 5 years, it's projected that the country will have 300 million citizens who will, as a matter of fact, need to be fed. And this, according to him, is just one of the many reasons to activate this necessary change.
Why we have to switch into semi-automatic poultry processing is because of food safety. If you have an offline process, you are buffering everywhere. So everywhere there are some chickens and you don't know how long the chickens are in a certain department. You see mountains of chickens. So, and if you have a line with an overhead and conveyor, you don't buffer anymore. So the within 30 minutes, the chicken is completely ready and already packed. And that's completely different than when you are buffering everywhere, because then you don't have control on the quality. Minimize cross-contamination. Cross-contamination is of course very bad for the quality of the products. So a bacterium from one chicken go to the other, and before you know, every chicken is fully contaminated. Hygiene is of course very important. We deal with human food, so hygiene in the plant, in the poultry processing plant, but also during your process is one of the key elements to have finally to produce food which is safe for human beings.
He also emphasizes the importance of maintenance of the equipment for its effective and long lifespan. Red meat, which is another high protein consumed in Nigeria, is focused on next, with a concern for the traditional slaughtering method.
Cattle, camels, a little bit the same, so the full line solutions. What's more important, especially here, a ritual solution. So the Islamic slaughtering, the halal slaughtering. So also you can equip this with the, instead of like I see a lot of countries, they bind the feet together, they pull them down to the ground and they cut the throat. It's traditional, I know that, and a lot of people want to do that, but as soon as you do that, the animal will de-bleed and the animal's in the blood. So you condemned the carcass and the outside of the carcass. To get that clean, you have to wash it again. So 90% of the time it's not done, it's not washed, so you have a lot of bacteria on the cattle. So this would be a solution. It's of course a more expensive solution, but in a market, the most upcoming market in Africa with 170 million people, I can imagine that there has to be something sustainable like this.
There are also the management of the human resources in the processing line.
Ergonomics and safety, very important. You are working like 3 meters, 3.5 meters up. You know, it's important that people are safe. feeling safe and not having to work like this the whole day. Because in the end of the day, that guy is hurting his back. Okay, for a day it's not that big, but when you have to work like that for a year, you have big problems. You know, and when you have a good butcher, you want to have a good butcher and have it, and he has to stay with the company because it's benefiting you.
The business of turning waste to feed is the third part of the presentation.
You see as well that more recently, especially feathers and blood in Europe and other parts of the world is coming as good ingredients for fish feed. People have a lot of fish farms now, and they want products with high protein levels and other amino acid contributing ingredients for the fish feed. And when the feathers and the blood is processed in a good way, then this is quite valuable raw ingredient for the fish feed. And I think in Nigeria there's quite some activity on the fish sector, so this could be interesting as well. And then finally the fish offals themselves, you can convert it to fish meal. Now 1 ton of fish meal maybe has a selling price of anything between $1,200 and $1,800 for 1 ton of fish meal, and the fish oil as well is a very valuable end product. So you know, I think it's interesting business, this rendering conversion of these products.
All this information handed over to agricultural entrepreneurs is backed with the promise of funding the industry in the areas of expanding and acquiring the needed equipment.
Within this building, if you are within Lagos and environment, we have what they call the Lagos Zone Office. Okay, the Lagos Zone Office, they deal with micro, small, and medium projects. Okay, for anything between 1 million to 20 million will fall within our microcredit. That you can go to Lagos Zone Office. Even up to about 50 million, 100, 200 million, you can go to that zone office. But if it's a big project, then you talk about coming to the head office.
It has come to the notice of the management of Bank of Industry, BOI, that some unscrupulous persons are defrauding the general public by claiming to be the bank's agents. BOI insists that it does not engage persons or organizations as its agent to sell application forms or receive completed loan applications on its behalf. If you are a genuine entrepreneur and prospective customer, please freely walk into any of BOI's zonal offices nearest to you and obtain the application forms and list of requirements for accessing loans directly, free of all charges. You can also visit our website and social media platforms for other details. For more information, call our head office in Lagos 01271 5070-99 or Abuja Corporate Office 08073990022 www.boinigeria.com.